So we will start. If others join, they can join. So very good morning, all of you. So today's workshop is about research preparation based on the final year research proposal presentation. We found that you have some guidance on the basics of the research. So that's why our Department of ICT organized this workshop. So today's resource persons are our lecturers. So first of all, thank you for the resource persons as well as the our head of the department and the research coordinator to support this workshop. So I believe so from this workshop you can able to identify the great ideas as well as you have to use this opportunity to develop your research as well as the final year students. This is mandatory. You will have your research progress presentation as well as the final research presentation very soon. So this session will be very helpful for the final year students as well as the third year and second year students. Based on the interest, they will join. So so let's move to the today's session. So I will give it to the space to our first resource person, Mrs. Pirunthavi, our lecturer, Department of ICT. So, uh, y- so Pirunthavi.
Sure, thank you. I'll first of all I'll share my screen. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can somebody confirm?
Yes, madam.
All right. Okay. Hope you all can see my screen. First of all, a very good morning to you all. I'll introduce myself. First of all, I am Pirunthavi, lecturer probationary, Department of ICT, Faculty of Technological Studies, University of Vvauniya. So, from my side, I am going to explain something about abstract writing as well as literature review writing. Okay, so we will start by now. First of all, we'll look into how to write abstract. Okay, so first of all, what do you mean by research? Can somebody tell what do you mean by research?
Find a solution for the technological gap.
Yeah, good. Anybody else? Okay. From a glance, research is a form of disciplined inquiry that involves studying something in a planned manner and reporting it. Okay, so that other inquirers can potentially replicate the process if they choose. This is a description or illustration of a research from a researcher. Okay, so it is from a glance. So we can call a research as in many forms, but from a glance we can call it as it is a form of disciplined inquiry that involves studying something in a planned manner and reporting it. Hence, other inquirers can potentially replicate the process if they choose. Okay, so there are many features in a research paper. Okay, first and foremost, there will be an abstract, introduction, literature review, findings, analysis and interpretation, limitation, recommendation, conclusion, and final one is references. Okay, the main features would be abstract, introduction, literature review, findings. Finding in the sense conclusion, discussion, and so on and so forth. We can include those things in findings. Okay, methodology, analysis and interpretation, recommendation, and references. Okay, so we will look into abstract as well as literature review in my session. Okay, so what do you mean by abstract? Can somebody speak up? What do you mean by abstract? Abstract is a short, self-contained, powerful summary of an article, thesis, or research paper. That is called abstract. Okay, so it would be concise statement of the major elements of the research paper. It is not like a summary. It is a concise statement which include major elements. Not all, we are not including all the elements of a research paper. We are going to include some major elements of a research paper in a concise manner. Okay. Abstract states the purpose, methods, and findings of the research mainly. Okay, so in an abstract, there will be the purpose of the research project. There would be the methodology or methods you are following to carry out the research. We have to include in the abstract, and the final findings of the research would be in the abstract. Okay, these are the main things we have to include in the abstract. Okay, this is a condensed version of a full scientific paper. Okay, this is called an abstract. So we have to have some idea about what are the things we are not including in the abstract. Okay, first of all, abstracts are not substitutes for the article and should not be cited as references. Okay, so we can't cite this abstract as references. Okay, so next one is abstract is not a summary of the entire article. It should present the main findings. As I said earlier, it is not a summary of a research article. It should include the major elements like purpose, introduction, methodology, finding, conclusion of a research paper. Okay, so we are not including all the things in an abstract. Okay, we should present only the main findings in an abstract in a concise statement. Okay, so next one is abstract does not contain enough information for a critical evaluation of the research. Okay, we are not giving all the things, all the critical evaluation in an abstract. We are only giving the small introduction or small description about the evaluation. Okay, so we are not giving all the, we are not providing all the critical evaluation in an abstract, since abstracts are the concise statement. We can't give brief introduction or brief description about the main findings. Okay, next one is abstracts are not fully peer reviewed. Up to 60% are never followed by a complete scientific article. Okay, we can't give other references to the abstract, to our abstract. Up to 60% of our wordings and our methodology should be unique. Okay, we can't follow other research article or scientific article to write abstract. It should be unified. It should be unique in our sense. Okay. Next one is format of an abstract. So it depends on the journal or conference proceeding we are submitting our paper, but the main format should be, the length should be between 150 words to 250 words. Okay, it depends on the journal or it depends on the conference proceeding. So the normal general length should be between 150 to 250 words. Usually the layout should be one single paragraph. We can't divide the paragraph into two or three paragraphs. So the layout should be one single paragraph. Okay. Font size different from the main text. We can't follow the same font size to the abstract. It should be different from the main text font size. Okay. The position usually at the beginning of the paper, abstract usually at the beginning of the paper, but it can be anywhere. For instance, in book of abstract or online. Okay. Usually, generally, we are including the abstract at the beginning. Okay. But it depends on the journal articles or conferences. Okay. Next one is characteristics of an abstract. First of the abstract should be accurate, coherent, and readable by anyone. Okay, so anyone from any field can be readable the abstract, and it should be accurate and coherent. Okay, the abstract should be concise, specific to the appropriate field, and selective. Okay, so you have to write the abstract very specifically to the selected field. Okay, so you have to write your abstract in a concise manner, and you have to write your abstract in a specific and selective manner. Okay, so next one is it should be self-contained and standalone. Self-contained and standalone in the sense it should be complete and internally consistent. Okay, complete in the sense you have to include the main findings of the main text. For instance, introduction, methodology, findings. Okay, so you have to include the major elements of the main text to the abstract. That is the meaning of completeness. Okay, and internally consistent. Then no references. You can't add any references or you can't cite anything in the abstract. Okay. Next one is no tables and figures. You can't add any tables or figures in the abstract. Okay. Next one is no or few abbreviations. Normally we are not adding any abbreviations in the abstract, but it depends. Okay, so if you are adding any abbreviations, you have to add very few abbreviations. Okay. Next one is conclusions should be based on data or information presented within the abstract. Okay. Next, we'll move to the 4 C's of an abstract. We have to follow these 4 C's to completely write an abstract. Okay, first one is complete. It covers major parts of the research, for instance, introduction, methodology, findings, and so on and so forth. But it should be in a concise manner. Okay. Next one is concise. It contains no excess wordiness or unnecessary information. We can't include or we can't contain no excess wordings or unnecessary information in an abstract. Next one is clear. It should be readable and well organized and not jargon led. Okay, so it should be readable by anyone and the abstract should be well organized in an appropriate manner. Next one is cohesive. It should follow smoothly between the parts. Okay, we have to follow the smoothness. We have to follow the steps one by one. Okay, that is called cohesive. Next one is purpose of an abstract. So there are many purposes we are writing the abstract. First one is introduce journal articles. Okay, so we are writing the abstract for introducing journal articles, for introducing the main text to the readers. Okay, so what are the includes in the main text? What are the findings of the main text? What are the methodology of the main text? So we're going to introduce the main article to the readers. So that's why we are writing abstract. Okay. Next one is inform reader about the article. Okay. So by using an abstract, we can inform the reader about the main text. What are the introduction we are going to follow? What are the methodologies we are going to follow? What are the analysis part we are going to follow? What are the findings we got? What are the recommendations we are providing? What are the references we are using? These are the informations we have to give to the readers to read the article. Okay, so in an abstract, you have to write something about the research problem, the methodology and findings and evaluation process in a concise manner. Okay, it helps readers to decide whether or not to read the article. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by this statement? Help readers to decide whether or not to read the article. Can somebody speak up? Abstract helps the readers to decide whether or not to read the article. What do you mean by that? It is in the sense it illustrates the reader whether or not to read the article. Since the article, the readers are based on some fields. For an instance, machine learning, artificial intelligence, human-computer interaction, digital image processing. So they are engaged in many kind of fields. So by reading the abstract, they can know whether or not the specific paper or research article is related to them. Okay, if someone is related to machine learning, if the paper is related to human-computer interaction, so they can easily skip the paper by reading the abstract. Okay, they don't need to read all the main text to know about the inside of the paper. Okay, they can easily read only the abstract and skip or get the paper for their future finding or future work. They can use that paper for their literature review or for their methodology or for their any users, they can use the paper based on the abstract. Okay. Next one is abstracts helps to present complex information in a clear, concise manner. Okay. So the abstract helps to present the complex information in the sense analysis procedure, methodologies, findings. These are some complex information of a main paper. So the abstract present the complex information in a very clear and a concise manner. So everyone can read the abstract very easily and get some idea about the main text. Okay. Next one is abstract helps readers to read main text more effectively. Okay. So after reading the abstract, the readers can get some knowledge about the main text. So after reading the abstract, then they can move to the main text. So while reading the main text, they can gain more knowledge about the paper while reading the abstract. Okay, so abstract gives more knowledge about the main text. And it can help the readers to read the main text more effectively and efficiently, and they can get more knowledge about the paper. Okay. Then the abstract helps to condense report information into a short format for database searches. Abstract is the thing which is used to search the appropriate researchers from the databases. Okay, by using the keywords, we can search the appropriate research articles. By using the wordings, we can search. By using that information, a contents report information in a short format, we can search the research article from any kind of research databases. Okay. Next one is quality of an effective abstract. Okay. Effective abstract should be unified, coherent, concise, and able to stand alone. Okay. So an effective abstract should be unified, unique, coherent, concise, and able to be stand alone. Parts of the report are discussed in order. Order in the sense purpose, research questions, methods, findings, conclusions, and recommendations. You have to include these features in a concise manner. Okay. Follow strictly the chronological order. Okay. You have to follow the chronology of the report. Okay. Chronology in the sense you have to first give 1 or 2 sentences about the purpose of the research article and the research questions, methods, findings, conclusion, recommendation in a chronology order. Okay. Add no new information, merely summarizes the report. Okay. Don't add new information which are not included in the main text. Okay. Next one is contain standalone qualities can be understood without reading the paper. Okay. So an effective abstract should contain standalone quality. Okay. It can be understood without reading the main text. Okay. Since the main purpose, the main research question, the methodology, findings, conclusion, recommendations are in the abstract itself in a concise manner. So we don't need to read all the things to get an idea. Only abstract is enough. Okay. It should be intelligible to a wide audience. Okay, it should cover a wide audience. Okay. Contents of an abstract. So we have to give some introduction about the research article. Introduction in the sense, we have to define purpose and scope of study. Okay, why you are doing the research? What are the research questions we are using? What are the research questions we are following? These are the things we have to include in the introduction part of an abstract. Next one is materials and methods. We have to describe materials and methodologies we are using in 1 or 2 sentences. We can't use more sentences to describe about the materials and methods we are using. We have to use only 1 or 2 sentences to describe those things. Next one is research. You have to summarize the results in the abstract. Okay. Next one is discussion. State the conclusions and their implications. Okay. How to write an abstract? First of all, you have to read all key section of your draft. Second step is take notes. Third step is refer your outline. Fourth step is draft your abstract. Okay, these are the steps you have to follow to write an effective abstract. Okay, we will see these steps one by one. Okay. Typically, the abstract contains topic, research question, methodologies, results, and conclusion. First of all, read your paper in its entirety. Keep the above categories in mind and underline the key points as you read. Okay, you have to read the entire paper, first of all. Then you have to keep the above categories. Above category in the sense, you have to get some introduction, research question, methodologies and results and conclusion from the main text, and underline those key points when you are reading. Okay, when you are reading, you have to underline some kind of introduction about the research paper, research questions, methodologies you are following, results and conclusion you are gaining. You have to underline the key points when you are reading. Okay, after you finish reading, create the abstract step by step based on your underlined materials. After underlining the key points, you have to start writing your abstract step by step. Okay. Next, we will move to step-by-step process of an effective abstract. First of all, 1 to 2 introduction sentences. You have to include only 1 to 2 sentences about introduction. Okay, so you have to explain topic, purpose, and research questions into 1 to 2 sentences. Okay, next one is 1 to 2 sentences for methodology. Describes research methods, may include the type of data analysis used. Okay, you have to include only 1 to 2 sentences to describe about your methodologies. You can further include the type of analysis process of a methodology. Or you are following which the analysis process you are following. Okay, 1 to 2 sentences for results to describe the results or finding of your final paper. Okay, 1 to 2 sentences for conclusion. It contains conclusions and recommendations. Okay, so around 10 sentences would be enough to write an effective abstract. It depends on the paper you are writing. Okay, first of all, 1 to 2 sentences about your introduction. It includes topic, purpose, or research questions. 1 to 2 sentences for methodology. It can include research methodologies, and it can include data analysis process as well. Okay. Third one is 1 to 2 sentences of results. It can describe the results or findings you are obtaining. Next one is 1 to 2 conclusion sentences. It contain conclusions and recommendations of your research work. But it should be in a concise manner. So you have to follow this chronology order. Okay, first of all, you have to give some introduction, then you have to give some information about the methodology and the analysis process, and you have to give some sentences for results and findings, and you have to give some conclusion or recommendation sentences. You have to follow the chronological order. Okay. If you are submitting your paper to a journal or conference proceedings, you have to follow some instructions or guidelines. Okay. First of all, check yourself to follow the instructions. Follow the instructions in the sense each and every journal and conference proceedings are following their instruction itself, themselves. Okay, so you have to follow the instructions from their glance. Okay, so if they are telling like you have to write an abstract within 300 words, you have to write your abstract in 300 words. Okay, so it depends on the journal article and conference proceeding you are submitting your research paper. Next one is include headings exactly as stated in the instructions or template. Okay, you have to include your headings based on the instructions or template they are providing. Okay, use short, clear sentences, one idea per sentence. As I said earlier, you have to give short, clear sentences. For some instances, you can see 1 to 2 sentences for introduction, 1 to 2 sentences for methodology. Likewise, you have to give short and clear sentences, one idea per sentence. This is the main part of an effective abstract. Okay. Limit the abstract to the word count, character count requirements. You have to limit the abstract to the word count. As I said earlier, if you are giving 250 words abstract, you have to follow the limitation of the word count. Okay, so some kind of journals are giving the word count. Some kind of journals are giving the character count. Okay, it depends on the journal or conference proceeding you are submitting your paper. So you have to follow the instructions of the word count as well. Okay, edit. You have to edit and edit once you reach the final abstract. Okay, so you have to edit the abstract based on the submission template or instructions they are providing. Okay, check grammar and syntax and punctuation prior to submission to a journal article or conference proceeding. Second, our next one is why abstracts are not accepted by journals or conferences. Okay, so poor presentation is one of the key elements of an abstract which is not accepted by the journal or conference proceeding. Okay. Next one is weak discussion. You have to discuss the main findings and conclusion very clearly. Okay. So if your discussion is very weak, your abstract might not be accepted. Okay. Next one is lack of originality. Lack of originality in the sense, if you are gaining some information, or if you are referring other scientific paper in the abstract, your abstract might be not accepted. Okay, the abstract and the main text should be original, based on your book. You can't get other scientific paper as references and write your paper. Okay, poor methods. If your methodology is poor, it might be not accepted. Okay, inappropriate statistical analysis. If your analysis is inappropriate, your abstract may not be accepted. Okay, inadequate result. If the result is inadequate, then your abstract might not be accepted. These are the features why your abstracts are not accepted by journals or conference proceedings. Okay. Some writing tips of an effective abstract are: active voice is preferable to passive voice. Okay, so if you are using active voice, is much better than using passive voice in the abstract. Okay, you can see an example. We studied 50 patients with our ARDS is much better than 15 patients with ARDS were studied. Okay, so active voice is much better than passive voice while you are writing the abstract. Always use the full term before you refer it to by acronym. Okay, first of all, you have to use the full term. Don't, for an instance, NLP. Okay, you have to use the natural language processing and the full term in the abstract. Then only you can use the NLP in the main text. Don't use the NLP straightforward in the abstract itself. Okay, first of all, you have to use the full term. Then only you have to use the shortened form in the upcoming sentences. Okay. Next one is write only one thought per sentences. Don't combine all these ideas, so all the sentences in one sentence. Make it simple. Write only one thought per sentence. The sentence should be easy to understand. Okay, if you are combining all the ideas or all the thoughts in one sentence, it should be it might be very unclear to the reader. Okay, so you have to make the sentence very easy to read. So that you have to write only one thought per sentence. So, eliminate unnecessary words. Don't include unnecessary words or jargons in the abstract. Okay. Ensure that verb tenses are consistent and correct. Okay, you have to follow the verb tenses. Okay, you have to ensure that verb tenses are consistent and correct. Okay, avoid jargons. Don't use jargons in the abstract. Use short sentences but vary sentence structure so that the abstract doesn't sound choppy. Okay, you have to use short sentences which should be very easy to read. But you have to vary the sentence structure so that the abstract doesn't sound choppy. Okay, use complete sentences. Don't divide the sentences. Use complete sentences. All right. So this is all for abstract. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Do I need to clarify anything about the abstract writing? If you have anything to ask, please let me know. Otherwise, we can move to the literature review. All right. Seems you don't have any questions to ask. So we will move to the literature review part. Okay. What do you mean by literature review? Can somebody speak up? If you can't speak up, at least put it in the chat box. I can read. What do you mean by literature review?
A review about previous research papers about that topic.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is from a glance. It's a review about the previous paper. Okay, literature review. It is in a very easy sense. Okay, so thank you. Then so we will move to this first slide of literature review. Okay, first of all, literature review is not an annotated bibliography. Okay, it is not a list of unrelated sources, and it is not an argument about the importance of your research. So you have to keep it on your mind that literature review is not an annotated bibliography, and it is not a list of unrelated sources, and it is an argument about the importance of your research. Okay, please keep it in your mind. What is literature review not? Okay. So there are many researchers who gave many definition about literature review. I have referred two of the research articles of what is literature review. Okay. So Furfulia and Bernard of the University of New South Wales, Australia, defined the literature review as an examination of the research that has been conducted in a particular field of study. Okay, they said that literature review is an examination of the research that has been conducted in a particular field of study. From another glance, Hart in 2003 agrees with this notion but expanded its definition to the selection of available documents and the effective evaluation of these documents in relation to the research being proposed. Okay, so Hart agrees this notation but he expanded its definition to the selection of available documents and the effective evaluation of these documents in relation to the research being proposed. Right? Next one is purpose of a literature review. Why we are writing literature review? To gain a good knowledge of the field of inquiry from facts or scholars, etc. Okay, so to gain a good knowledge of the field of inquiry. Okay, if you are writing any research article of machine learning, you have to read some literature to gain more knowledge, to gain much knowledge of the machine learning field. Okay, next one is methodologies common to the field. Okay, while we are reading the literatures, we can gain some knowledge. We can understand some methodologies which are common to the particular field. Okay, if you are, for an instance, if you are going to write any machine learning research article, first of all, we have to read some literatures. Read some previous literatures which are related to the machine learning. And we can gain some knowledge about the methodologies they have followed in their papers. Okay, then we can gain some knowledge about the common methodologies they have followed to gain the final finding. Okay, next one is proposed research is really needed. Okay, next one is helps to narrow a problem. Literature review helps to narrow a problem. Okay, proposed research is really needed in the sense if you are proposing any research question, if you are proposing any methodology, if you are proposing any findings, we have to give some proof that these methodologies were not be used in any other previous papers. These research questions have not been used in previous papers. You have to give some proof. Okay, so this literature review gives some ideas about the previous paper. Okay, then you can follow your research article. Okay, then helps to narrow a problem in the sense writing the literature review helps to narrow down to the appropriate field of study. Okay, so you can narrow down the methodology, you can narrow down the research question, you can narrow down the analysis process, you can narrow down all the features of the research paper by using the literature review. Okay, generation of hypotheses, research questions, or questions for future studies. Okay, you can create some research questions or questions for future studies by writing the literature review. Okay, next one is comments a long-term study of interest. Okay, by writing or reading the literatures, you can commence a long-term study of interest. Okay, next one is literature review process. First of all, you have to select a topic. Second one is search and choose the literature. Third one is analysis and interpret the literature. Fourth one is write the review. We will see these steps one by one in the upcoming slides. First one is select a topic. First of all, while selecting a topic, you have to choose a research interest. For instance, someone of us is interested in machine learning. Someone is interested in human-computer interaction, artificial intelligence, digital image processing. It depends on their interest. Okay. First of all, you have to choose a research interest. For instance, I have given mass communication media. This is the research interest. Next one is select a research interest from the everyday interest. Okay, first of all, you have to choose a research interest. Second one is select a research interest from the everyday interest. Okay, so within the mass communication media, we can include film industry. Okay, so film industry is, we can include the recent rise of superhero films. Okay, so you can select the research interest from the everyday interest. Next one is use the research interest to choose the research topic. Okay, final one is you can select the topic based on the research interest. First of all, you have to select the research interest. Second one is you have to select the research interest from the everyday interest. Third one is the choosing the research topic. Okay. Step 2, search and choose the literature. Okay. So how you are going to search and choose the appropriate literature? First one is find materials relevant to the research subject. Okay. So first of all, you have to find the materials relevant to the particular research subject. For some instances, effects of films, factors that influence adolescent behavior, etc. Okay, these are the materials relevant to the appropriate research subject. So next one is where you can find the appropriate literature. Okay, so mostly we can find the appropriate literature mostly from primary sources of literature such as academic journals, conference proceedings, government pamphlets, theses, and dissertations. Okay, these are the major primary sources of literature. Okay, in scanning literature, manage your data properly by documenting the author, book title, etc. and key ideas expressed. While you're scanning the literature, you have to manage the data properly. Okay, first of all, you have to document the some kind of features. Okay, so before writing the literature review, you have to scan the literature and manage your data in an appropriate manner. For some instance, first of all, you have to write the author or authors. Then the title of the paper you are going to refer. The key ideas of the particular paper. Okay, I have given an instance. First of all, the author name is Kavan and Angela. The title is Boys, Masculinity and Television Violence, Difference Between Superheroes and Football Heroes. The key ideas from the particular research article is Kavan's research concluded that the way male superhero characters are televised teaches young boys that masculinity is associated with aggression. This is the key idea of this particular research article. So before writing the literature review, you have to manage your data by documenting it. Okay. First of all, you have to search the paper and download or save it in a local device. Then you have to read the paper. And you have to write the author name, title of the particular paper, and the key ideas of the particular paper. You have to document it in an appropriate manner. Okay. Next one is map your materials. Decide what data would be relevant to your research. After manage your data, after documenting your data, you have to decide what data would be relevant to your research study. Okay, this stage gives you a chance to refine or expand your research topic. Okay, next one is analyze and interpret the literature. This is the step 3 process. You have to analyze and interpret the literature. It means developing our argument and criticizing the literature to ensure that supports our thesis. Okay, so it should develop our arguments and criticizing the literature to ensure that it supports our thesis. This is mean by analyze and interpret the literature. Okay, I have given an example. You can read once I share the slides with you. Okay. Step 4, write the review. After completing these 3 steps, first one is select the topic, second one is search and choose the literature, third one is analysis and interpret the literature, fourth one is write the review. After completing these 3 steps, only you can write the review. Okay, composing, molding, and refining the literature. Okay, you have to compose these findings and materials, and you have to mold, and then only you can refine the literature. Okay, the written literature review becomes a work that accurately conveys the research that can be understood by the intended audience. Okay, so literature review becomes a work that accurately, effectively conveys the research that can be understood by the appropriate intended audience. Beginning the literature review, introduce your literature review by defining or explaining your research problem. Okay. Before writing your literature review, you have to introduce your research problem in the first paragraph. Then only you have to start writing your literature review. Okay. There are some few steps we are following while writing the literature review. First one is write in the past tense except when discussing their significance. Use the present tense. You have to write the literature review in the past tense. If you are writing or discussing the significance of the paper, you have to use the present tense. Otherwise, you have to use the past tense. Okay, if you are discussing anything about the significance of the paper, you have to use present tense. Otherwise, you have to use fully in the past tense. Okay. An organizational scheme should be used to arrange the literature. You have to follow the organizational schemes. Okay, you have to follow an organizational scheme. Okay, you can follow topical order, you can follow chronological order, problem cause solution order, general to specific order, known to unknown order, comparison and contrast order, specific and general order. These are some organizational schemes we are following to write a literature review. So, for an instance, we can see topical order. Okay, so nature of superhero films is the feature of a topical order. Okay, so within the feature, you have to include what exactly it is. What do you mean by the nature of superhero? Different themes expressed by these films. Superheroes and violence, superheroes and heroism. Okay, you have to follow topical order to describe the nature of superhero films. Okay, next one is effects of films. Next one is influences of adolescent behavior, concept of meanness. These are the three topical order of the particular research article. Okay, so if you're writing any literature review, you have to follow organization as key to write a effective literature review. Okay, so that's all for literature review. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't you have any questions to ask? If you don't have anything to ask, you can let me know in your chat box. Are you clear about all the things?
So hence I think they don't have any questions regarding this, but if you have any questions, you can put in the chat. After that also she will answer your questions, so no issues. So thank you, Brindavi. So it's very informative session. I hope our students will get great points regarding the abstract and